Bradley Denniston, and in this video, I'm gonna give you 5 vocal production techniques that I use all the time in a ton of records. I'm gonna show you how I blow up this chorus and how you can do the same thing with your music. Now, if you aren't subscribed to the Waves channel, definitely subscribe. There's gonna be a ton of content and I don't want you to miss out on it. So make sure you're subbed. Now let's dive right in. Before we dive into vocal production technique number 1, I wanna just play the chorus for you. And this is with everything in.
Call me on the way to Sunday. Call me on a two-way line. Show me that you need me, baby. I'm caught in the vibe.
A lot of the times when we hit a chorus, we want to double the chorus lead vocal, but sometimes you only have one vocal as your double. In this case, that's all I got. I like to use the doubler 2 to make that double sound a lot thicker and just juicier. It just like sounds way better, right? So let's hear the lead vocal and this double vocal soloed.
Call me on the way to Sunday. Call me on a two-way line.
Now let's hear it with the doubler bypassed, just a part of it, because I want to explain something about the doubler and how we can really fake a double with just one single vocal.
Call me on the way to Sunday. Call me on a two-way line.
So it's really important when we bypass the doubler, we get kind of a vocal stacking and they just don't feel right. And it also feels very congested right in the middle. So when I turn on the doubler, what I'm doing here is I'm taking down the middle. So this is the direct signal. And you could even turn that off if you want for more of just the sides on the vocal. I usually just bring it down. I keep the EQ pretty flat. And what you can do is bring these sides up by the gain here, or you can even move them right here on this circle. And then make sure that they're panned however you want to pan them. So you can do negative, whatever on this side, all the way hard panned negative 45 and all the way panned right plus 45. And then you have a slight delay, which is going to give you that double effect. And you can also detune each side as well. I can take this back down like to negative 15 or so and just play around with it and find a good spot for your double.
Call me on the way to Sunday. Call me on a two-way line. Show me that you need me, baby.
And it just makes your vocal sound so much bigger and so much more impactful for the chorus. Technique number 2, we're gonna use Waves harmony to make spot harmony parts. Now this is really fun, especially if you don't have harmonies written. Step 1, find the parts you wanna punctuate. So at the end of the phrase, I wanna punctuate just this part here. A tip for you is cut out of the lead vocal, grab the part that you wanna punctuate, and then I just drag it down, option drag it down so you make a duplicate. I already did all that. Another tip is make sure that you don't have a lot of S's and T's and breaths on that double because you'll get artifacts. You want to stay away from the consonants. Focus on the vowels, right? And then what I have on the chain here is the Manny Marquine EQ. And this is just really filtering out all the bottom and we're pushing a little bit of the top. And I'm also filtering out kind of the boxy area around 400. So that's to feed the Waves harmony. And then on the Waves harmony, pick the key that we're in. So F sharp minor, right? F sharp, you can go up here. You can hit this down arrow and go to F sharp here, and then go to minor, major, whatever scale you're in. And then I have the correction here on hard. You could put it on notes, you could put it on off, or you could put it on natural tuning. So this is like the input tuning for the vocal. And then we get to explore these other options where you have the notes here, or you have the main note that's being fed, which is the unison. Now this unison, you can see I can turn it up or down and push it forward or back, just like the doubler plugin, which is really cool. So I can tuck this back and I can have the notes play out forward more, right? Check this out. I'm just taking this, cutting it, and only getting these parts, and I'm gonna solo this so you can really just hear what this is doing when it fires off on the harmony.
Sunday, two-way line, baby.
Like what a vibe, right? So here's the lead vocal, our double that we've already put in, right? And with the Waves harmony doing the spot harmonies.
To Sunday, call me on a two-way line. Show me that you need me, baby.
So that's a really cool way to keep your production exciting and just give it a different vibe, right? Like the Sunday. Like that just feels really vibey. All right, this third technique is something I use in every mix I ever do. I'm going to be straight up with you. And I've been using it for over a decade now. And that is my widening chain. So on my lead vocal, and typically I put this on the lead, I might put it on the double, I might put it on whatever, anything and everything that I want to thicken out in the center image. And what that is here is this send here going to this chain, REQ6, and you can use any EQ you want. But what I'm trying to do here is stay away from sibilants, consonants, etc. So I'm turning that down with a shelf, and I'm focusing on that 500 area, the beef, the body of the vocal, and that's to thicken it out in the center. And then the doubler 2, you're finding that I really like this doubler 2 plugin, huh? On this specifically, when I'm using this on the widening chain, I turn off the direct. So I'm only getting the sides, and I am bringing those up pretty good. No EQ or anything there. Lastly, just to give it a little bit more width, I use the S1 imager. I don't run into any phase issues, by the way. Just use the mono button on your monitor. It's very simple. Don't overthink this stuff. Just check it. Does it fold down all right? Cool. If not, go back. And I'm just going to solo out the lead vocal here. And here is the send here. I'm just going to bring this up and down. So we'll start from 0 here.
Call me on the way to Sunday. Call me on a two-way line. Show me that you need me, baby. I'm caught in your vibe.
So that's just a really magical way to thicken that lead vocal and make it really important in the mix. Now, let me just pop it in the mix. I had it about, -14 or so.
Call me on a two-way line. Show me that you need me, baby. I'm caught in your vibe.
And yes, you can automate that. Have your verses where the vocal is a little bit smaller and more focused. And then in the chorus, you can open that up where the vocal goes, whoa, it gets really wide and out up front, right? So it doesn't get lost when the mix gets really busy. Now, the fourth technique is all about sweetening the vocal. After you got everything compressed, EQ'd right, now you're like, yo, I need some more dimension, front to back and left to right width. The CLA vocals, the slap delay on this is one of the best in the world. Like, I can't get enough of this. I use it all the time for just like dimension. Gives a little room around the vocal. So I use a little bit of that slap. The R verb. I love the R verb. It is light on CPU. I've been using it for 14 years now on my mixes, on my records, my recordings, because you can turn this thing on and you can track right through it. And it's so good. And what I do on this for the diffusion, I like it around 50%. I think that sounds amazing. I lock in the timing, and one of my favorite things to do is to give it a little bit of pre-delay. Depending on the BPM of the record, this is at 140 BPM. I might go anywhere from 15 on the pre-delay, milliseconds, all the way up to 40 milliseconds on the pre-delay. So I just feel it out. I don't calculate it. You can go online and find calculators, but I really just feel it out and listen and use my ears. And then wet dry 16%. I'm going to bypass just these two in and out, and then I'll show you my real secret sauce on the send here.
Call me on the way to Sunday. Call me on a two-way line. Call me on the way to Sunday. Call me on a two-way line. Call me on the way to Sunday. Call me on a two-way line. Show me that you need me, baby.
The reason I'm inserting the R verb and the CLA vocals for the slap is I get this dimension. I can automate it up and down. So if I'm in the verse, I can just automate this down or up. But I also like the slap feeding into the R verb. I think that that's really important, and the ability to just wet dry it. So I like that control on my lead vocal. And my secret sauce here is to hit it with the H delay on the send. But I like the lo-fi on this because this is kind of a vintage throwback vibe, and it just kind of rolls it out a little bit and feels really warm and sits in the track nice. And then I hit the ping pong at eighth notes. And then what you really want to focus on here is the filters and the feedback. So how much of that eighth note do you want going blah, 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 and then also how many frequencies do you want coming back? So I try to filter it so I'm not getting the top and I'm not getting the bottom. And then I'm going to hit that lo-fi, and it's just magic. It sounds amazing. And here's it soloed out, and I'll bypass it in and out.
On a two-way line. Show me that you need me, baby. I'm caught in your vibe.
That's just sauce. Sousy sauce. It's like, you know, just make it a little bit more wide, a little bit deeper. And with every little tiny move, that's what we're doing. So let's bypass all the effects and then we'll pop them back in. So widening, CLA vocals, slap, R verb, and the H delay.
Call me on the way to Sunday. Call me on the way to Sunday.
Take the time on your records and really dial in these effects. Now, my last technique, but certainly not least, probably one of my favorite plugins for format shifting is the vocal bender, because it holds things together and it sounds really good without much of any artifacts at all. Such a great algorithm. But what I'm doing here is I'm punctuating parts. And this is like a really cool technique to kind of give excitement to the end or the beginning or a certain word in a chorus or a verse, etc. So what I'm doing here is the vocal bender, just kind of hitting this last phrase to punctuate it before we go back into the verse. And it's just like so funky, right? So here's in the mix.
I'm caught in your vibe.
Now let's break this down, because the vocal bender, you could just format shift it a little bit, but I also pitched it up 12 semitones, which is a whole octave, right? And you can get really creative with that.
I'm caught in your vibe. I'm caught in your vibe.
I really like to take the format down a little bit and then pitch it up, because it still sounds like it's almost like I'm doing falsetto or something. Now let's hear everything all together.
Call me on the way to Sunday. Call me on a two-way line. Show me that you need me, baby. I'm caught in your vibe.
And that's it. Those are my 5 vocal production tips for you and techniques to get you up to that pro level on your vocal production, give you some spice. So if you guys got anything out of this video, please share it. Make sure you drop a little comment, show some love, like the video, and subscribe to the Waves channel so you can get more game. I'll see you next time.